Hello and welcome to the SFCA podcast. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We are ready to start. We have a special guest who wasn't on the lineup, Lisette from the city of Miami Beach. Lisette, thank you for joining us. We want to get this started because it's jam-packed. As you can see, this is probably a historic number of panelists that we have on the call. So welcome, everyone. Can we get some cooler weather? I'm tired of this warm weather. We get like 1 or 2 day teases, and then it goes back to the 80-plus degrees. At least the humidity has dropped. Thanksgiving is a week that's finally here. We're here, and we're ready to go. Some cool ideas to do if you, as I mentioned earlier, if you're not like me, if you're like me that doesn't like to cook, then a couple of options for you. Red South Beach, they have some great offerings, both entire turkeys as well as whole and in part. And then we also have some really cool ice creams from our new friends at Lincoln Road Mall, Salt and Straw. They've got some Thanksgiving themed flavors. I believe 5 of them. We got to try those out too. So thank you for joining us. If this is your first call, thank you for joining us. This is our 42nd Zoom call. Special recognition to all the sales teams, hotel managers, and support staff that are on the call. For those of you just joining us for the first time, welcome on the call as we share facts, figures, and stats on South Florida tourism. We also have some entertaining information, facts that you hope you enjoy. I want to make sure that everybody's familiar with the chat feature. Thank you for whoever told us that the chat wasn't working. It is now functional for everyone. So please, that's how we're going to give away the prizes. What we do is once we have the call, at the end of the call, some of our panelists will ask a question of the group. Whoever answers a question properly will go ahead and give away the prize. So one thing I didn't mention in the pre-show, all the panelists, you can come up with a question, be either based on your presentation or just a general trivia question. We're going to give away a $50 gas card to each individual that answers the question for the first time. So if you do win with the first panelist, you're not eligible to win again. So we want to make sure everyone has a chance to win. So make sure you listen to the question, be the first to give the right answer via the chat, and win. Want to introduce our panel today. We have Andrew Wobben-Smith with the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, along with Ceci Velasco, the new married Ceci Velasco. Congratulations, Ceci.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We wish you all the best. She's the Executive Director of the Ocean Drive Association. And then we have a special guest today, John Copeland, with the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. We also have Anibal Lopez, Executive Director of the Lincoln Road Mall, and we have Lisette Garcia Arrogante, Director of Tourism and the Cultural Department of the City of Miami Beach. So I'm going to stay quiet. I'm going to turn the mic over to Anibal. Anibal, you want to put up your presentation? Go ahead and click the share screen. And you are ready to go.
Well, Miguel, thank you for this opportunity to share all the great happenings that are going on Lincoln Road. I'm going to go quickly through our cultural programming calendar starting this week, and it goes through January because there's a lot happening. So I didn't want to give you the whole year at a glance. So first and foremost, we have Smorgasburg. We kicked off Smorgasburg in March and has been quite successful. This happens every Friday night on 1100 block of Lincoln Road. We have over 15 different food vendors that come out. We have live music. So this is always a wonderful addition to our local community to come out and spend some time, especially as the weather is starting to get more and more beautiful for us. Of course, ongoing, we have the antique and collectible market that happens every other Sunday. And then every Sunday, we have the farmers market on Lincoln Road. And starting on Friday, we have our big holiday parade and tree lighting. It will run from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. At 6, we have free crafts for the kids and the family. We'll have hot chocolate from Starbucks. And then we'll start doing our holiday parade. We'll walk from Euclid all the way to Drexel and back. We'll have stilt walkers. We'll have Santa, Mrs. Claus. And then at 7:30, we do the big tree lighting on Euclid Avenue. It's a great, great family event. So please invite all your friends and family, and of course, the visitors that are down here during this time. And then on Saturday, November 25th, we have our first holiday Joy and Jazz Festival featuring Lisa Richards. Again, this is also happening on Euclid. It's a free jazz concert, so please make sure to share this with your guests. We will start doing snowfall, believe it. We'll have snow flurries on Lincoln Road starting this Friday through 12/23. It'll be Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, 6 to 9 p.m. On the top of the hour, we'll have snow falling on Euclid. Of course, Santa's here for the season. He arrives on Friday. We have our Santa's Cabana, free pictures with Santas from Friday to Saturday from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. And then we have the Miami Beach Holiday Festival Lights, which will happen on Lincoln Road, December 1st and 2nd. We will also have a 25-piece orchestra. We'll have live singing, live performances from Elsa, the Grinch, and then we will be having some mapping on our Lincoln Road buildings. So it's going to be an amazing, wonderful concert. It happens at 6:30, 7:30, and 8:30 p.m. on December 1st and 2nd. We have our Family Kids Day event on December 3rd, noon to 3 p.m. We have partnered with South Florida Family Life. Again, we'll have a special guest appearing there. You'll see Mr. Grinch, but we also have Clifford the Big Red Dog. We'll have a story time telling with him. So please make sure you tell the families to come out. And again, all our events are free and open to the public. We will have the Javier Garcia Band doing a performance on Euclid. A live band from 7 to 9 p.m. And then we'll be kicking off our Living Art. It's a botanical festival. We're literally in the process of working with 5 different local landscape designers. And each designer has been given a specific area between Meridian and Washington. And we're going to be taking over all these amazing landscape areas, and they're going to be doing art. So the plant is going to be our Living Art. So this is kicking off again in December, and it'll run through April. We will have Carlos Andrades on Euclid Oval on 7 to 9 p.m. on 12/16. And of course, our annual South Beach Jazz Festival is happening on Lincoln Road, 6th and 7th. And this will happen on the 1100 block as well. It's an annual event. Everyone looks forward to this. We have some amazing talent lineup this year. And of course, if you haven't heard, we have a big sculpture on Lincoln Road. This is on the 400 block on the east side by Washington. It's by an artist named Marco Cochran. The piece is called Our Evolution. She's about 43 feet tall. She originally was on exhibit in the Burning Man Festival back in 2015. And we're very happy to have her on Lincoln Road. This will be going through April of 2024. And then just to give you an update of some of the new stores that are here on Lincoln Road. New retail as far as fashion, we have Adidas, Hoka, Luli Fama, which is a great baby suit and boutique store. We have Habitat Hyatt. We have Paris Saint-Germain, Deluxe Milano, Voyage, which is luggage. I know a lot of the visitors are always looking for luggage. Mango and the Spot Barbershop. And as far as F&B and food, of course, Salt and Straw, and Miguel alluded to them. They have amazing Thanksgiving flavors. Cheesecake opened up, Bon Bon Candy, which is like an old-fashioned candy store from Montreal. Turkish Delights, amazing desserts. If you like the Turkish candy sweets, they are doing wonderful. It's a great little store, boutique store. We have Osteria da Fortunata, which is a restaurant straight from Italy. They're very famous in Rome and Milan. So they're on the 600 block, delicious food. We also opened up Italian Trattoria. That's on the 1000 block. It's Sugar, which is a popular candy store, as well as they sell merchandise. That will be opening up soon, probably within the next week or so. Of course, Takomi opened up and Poke House. And that concludes my presentation. I think I did that under 10 minutes.
You did. Record time. We do have a few questions. We have one from Mary Carmen Cardenas for you. Are these events Annabelle is presenting listed on the Instagram or TikTok accounts? They're great events. She could take the bright line.
Yes, all our events are either on our website, which is lincolnroad.com. We also promote it on our Instagram and Eventbrite. We have a Lincoln Road Eventbrite. So you can always find the latest happenings on there. And again, these are all free events.
Great. And then Martina has a question. When exactly in December will the Living Art on Lincoln Road Mall start?
We will probably officially announce around December 11th.
So December 11th, it'll start? Perfect. Yeah. And then as far as the PDF, Andrea, we will send a PDF of everything that was presented after the call in the post show notes. So perfect. Let me see if I have another question here. Nope, that is all. Excellent. Thank you very much, Annabelle. Great information. Now, you have the ability to make somebody $50 richer. It's the power's in your hands. You can either give a question based on this presentation or a general trivia question, if it's not too hard, of course. First individual that answers on the chat, not the Q&A, will win a $50 gas card. Are you ready?
Yes.
Great.
When was our evolution showcased at the Burning Man Festival? What year?
Ooh-wee. I said first answer was 2013.
No.
2015.
Yes.
Larissa, you won. Larissa Gallagher. You will be getting a $50 gas card. Excellent. Congratulations, Larissa. Thank you very much, Anibel. And we move on to Mr. Copeland. Let me share screen for you, John. 1 second.
I've got it here, Miguel.
Oh, you have it already. Yep. You do.
Absolutely. All right. I think we should be off and running. A thumbs up. You can see the screen.
Yes, sir. You got
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, it's great to be with everyone here on the call this morning. We, as you know, have such a big December coming up. And as we heard from Annabelle, so much happening just on Lincoln Road. And so I'm here to share a little bit about what's happening all over the destination. And as we kick off our fantastic December and January, I want to remind everybody that our Temptation programs continue to be a very popular resource for visitors who are looking for exciting deals, offers, promotions that are happening throughout our community. And December and January is Miami Arts, Culture, and Heritage Months. And so look for those deals at miamitemptations.com. If you are an arts, culture, or heritage organization and you want to participate, please reach out to us and we're happy to get your offer up into this Temptation program. With that, we have a lot of materials and things that we are putting together. I actually think I've skipped a slide or two here, Miguel. Let me back up and see if I can get myself going. Nope. This is where we need to be. All right. So we've got some materials that we have put together. We've got a Miami Art Week guide and map, and that map is at the printer right now, should be ready early next week, and we will start distributing this around the community. This guide map puts a pin on all the locations for all of the fairs and festivals that are happening throughout Miami Art Week. This will be available at the visitor centers. We'll get some out to our hotel partners and to the concierge desk, as well as you can look for them at all of the fairs as we distribute these throughout the community. And then also be on the lookout for our Arts and Culture Insider. We got the fabulous Star Child on the cover. Fantastic work acquired by the city of Miami Beach. Thank you, Lisette, for making this happen and bringing this permanently to our community. The Arts and Culture Insider, we are actually going into production for the next edition in January. And so if you're interested in being a part of this edition, please reach out to me and we're happy to talk to you about how to be a partner with us in the production of this publication. So, some news on Art Basel. So, Art Basel is celebrating its 21st edition. The 21st edition of Art Basel Miami Beach comes to us December 8th through 10. Now, remember, December 8th through 10 are the public days. But as we know, there's a lot happening that week at Art Basel. And so you can find all this information on the Art Basel website. But remember that private days begin on Wednesday and Thursday, and these are for the first choice and preview VIP ticket holders. The vernissage occurs Thursday night, and then you'll see the public day hours there Friday through Sunday. Yes, Art Basel Miami Beach will be back open on Sunday this year. Last year they had a little schedule adjustment and they actually were closed on Sunday. This year we're happy to have them through the entire weekend. And again, the 21st edition of Art Basel Miami Beach takes place at the Miami Beach Convention Center. So make sure to visit Art Basel this year. Along with Art Basel, Miami Beach has some fantastic satellite fairs taking place that week. Aqua comes back December 6th through 10. We have Design Miami in Pride Park, directly across the street from the convention center. Always a must-do. Ink Miami, the Satellite and Scope, as well as Untitled, all happening out there on Miami Beach, and those dates are there. Check their websites for hours and access. In the downtown area, we have Art Miami and Context happening at the old Miami Herald site right there on the bay. We also have NADA, the new Art Dealers Alliance, happening at the Ice Palace. Always a fantastic show, one of my favorites. And Prism Art Fair comes back downtown to Miami, and they will be they're at a new spot. They're at the Omni this year, which will be a fun, fantastic place. So you can catch Art Miami in Context and then bounce over to Omni to catch the Prism Art Fair. In Wynwood, we have Red Dot and Spectrum. They will be at Mana Wynwood at the convention center space there. And of course, as we all know, Wynwood will be bustling with lots of activity. Make sure you check out Wynwood Walls. They have 11 new walls that they just refreshed over the past couple of weeks, and they'll be unveiling those walls during Art Week. In Coconut Grove, we now have 2 art fairs. So Coconut Grove continues to attract lots of fantastic art activity at the hangar, which is what you see here on the screen right there in the heart of Coconut Grove will be Pinta, Miami. And then the Fridge Art Fair will be taking place in Coconut Grove as well. And that's always a fantastic art fair that has a satellite in New York City and is a fun fair to get to with very accessible and affordable artworks if you're looking to add to your collection. So as we look at the 16 plus fairs that we have throughout our community, everyone will be getting a PDF of this deck so that you'll have all this information at your fingertips. Again, these are the major fairs. There's lots of gallery openings and private events that are happening throughout the community, and we'll dive into a few of those. One of them that's new and exciting this year is the Doral Art and Flowers Festival. So there's a lot of things happening out in other parts of the county. And so at December 7th through 10, this will take place at the Doral Cultural Arts Center in downtown Doral. And I encourage everyone to get out and check out this. As we know, Greater Miami is such a showcase for the importation of art, of flowers, and is a big part of our industry and our economy. And this is a fantastic way to celebrate flowers through the Doral Art and Flowers Festival. Also want to give a shout out to No Vacancy Miami Beach, one of our favorite exhibitions that happens during this time. No Vacancy is open and running right now, and I'm hoping Lisette will share some more information about this, but I was very excited to see that through the Experience Miami Beach Tours app, you can now tour the No Vacancy projects. And that app is provided by the Miami Beach Visitor and Convention Authority. So make sure you download that app so that you can find all of these incredible artworks at these beautiful hotel properties on Miami Beach. We're doing a kickoff event with the Doral Contemporary Art Museum and the Business Forum. This is a panel discussion that we're doing next Tuesday. Lucky enough to be invited to be a part of this panel where we're going to talk all about the business of art and the art of business. And so if you're in the Doral area or if you want to come out and get your art week started early, join us at the Intercontinental Hotel in Doral on Tuesday, November 28th at 6:30 for that fantastic VIP event. Also, some other events and things that we are supporting. These are some parties and exciting opening events at some of our hotel properties throughout Greater Miami. We're at the Arlo Wynwood on December 3rd. We'll be out on Miami Beach on the 6th and 7th, and then down in Coconut Grove at Regatta Harbor on December 9th. And that's going to be an all-day event full of activity. So if you're in the area and you want to take a little breather, stop by and check out these events. More information will be available on our website. And then finally, I always have to plug Art of Black Miami, this fantastic initiative that's organized and produced by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's led by our multicultural tourism development team, Petra Brennan and Connie Kennard, and a lot of information coming to you about Art of Black Miami. Be sure to visit the website for the latest news and information about this fantastic program that continues to grow year after year. Art of Black Miami is celebrating its 9th year here in Greater Miami, and so we look forward to even bigger celebrations for our 10th anniversary next year. And then finally, I just want to give a little plug for our upcoming holiday party. We invite you all to join us at Jungle Island. This is on Tuesday, December 12th. So when you're in your Miami Art Week hangover period, you can come out to Jungle Island and we'll all raise a glass together and ring in a great holiday season. This event's in partnership with the GMCVB, along with our friends at the Greater Miami and Beaches Hotel Association and the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. So that's on Tuesday, December 12th, 5:30 to 8 at Jungle Island. We're doing a toy drive as well, so make sure you join us for this fun evening of celebration. And with that, I'm going to wrap up a little bit early for you, Miguel. You get a couple minutes back.
Great. Thank you very much. Sounds like fun. Mary Carmen says it takes a great planning to gather all these in one solar system. Congratulations, John. And also a promo from the Kimpton South Beach Hotel in hosting an artist Haleen Sundial installation by the pool. So again, I sent out a message to everyone. If you have anything you want us to promote, send the email to info@sfcaonline.com and we will send it out to everyone. John, are you ready for the question?
I am ready.
Let's go.
So again, the first one to answer correctly in the chat wins the prize. And the question is, this year's Art Basel Miami Beach is what edition of the fair?
Whoa, that was quick.
Super quick. They had their fingers on the numbers.
Yep, I think they already okay, so Owana. Owana is a winner. Owana, congratulations.
Congrats.
You'll win a $50 gas card. Thank you to everyone. Everyone actually got it right. It's just a matter of who got it in. Great. Let me see. And now we move on to Andrew. Andrew, ready for the facts and figures? And I already gave you a heads up. One question that I've gotten a lot of questions, not a lot, more than a few, is Basel as popular this year as it been in past? Because a lot of the livery companies, car rentals, have felt like by this time they've already gotten inquiries and they're not getting that many. So with that said, proceed, kind sir. Let me co-host you 1 second. There you go. Load up and you'll be all set.
And Miguel, I'm just going to jump in with a little anecdote about that observation. You know, we actually have one extra week between Thanksgiving and the beginning of Art Basel Miami Beach this year. And I think that may be what we are seeing because the past couple of years, Art Basel Miami Beach has begun the week directly following the Thanksgiving holiday. And that's not the case this year.
Got it. Maybe that's it. Excellent. Andrew, you ready to go?
Yes, sir. I am ready to go, and I do believe I have some information that could help. And John, thanks for pointing that out. I was going to point that out too, but to your point, things are happening a little bit different this year, so it might look a little wonky when you're trying to compare year over year. So noted. So anyway, thank you, folks, for coming on this call today. I really appreciate it. And as usual, I have lots of information to get through in a relatively short period of time, but I put this together every month with a lot of thought. This one was a little bit harder than normal because a lot of my information didn't come in until Friday. So that's good in the sense that you know that you're going to get information that actually nobody has yet. Even here at the GMCVB, I have some stuff, including a forecast for hotels that just came out. So if you're a hotelier, then today's your lucky day, because about half of the content in here is really devoted to hotels, but certainly something for everybody. So with that said, the normal course of action here for those of you that it's your first time is that I'll talk about economics, I'll talk about some of the industry developments, and I'll talk about more specifically what we see going on in Miami and those things that could affect us, as well as some of the outlook that we think is going to be pertinent for you folks. So let's begin, shall we? The economy rolls along, right? Post strong gains, the strongest in 2 years. This article came from CoStar. It grabbed my attention because of the headline. It seems to be good news in some ways. So I thought, let me share that. And as you folks know, those of you that are on this call every month, I try to share multiple sides of arguments here because it's very difficult to quantify and decide which direction we're moving into. So there's a lot of things out there, particularly now, that are conflicting. So let's talk about those things. And of course, if you have any questions, or you may not even agree with me, but I just put out there what I think I see going on, and then let you decide. And the sources here for all these articles are on the bottom right. So if you want to check these articles out after, you can certainly do so. So what they're saying here is that economists have predicted a recession, but that's not really necessarily happening. We see that the gross domestic product grew by 4.9%. That was beating the expectations. So that's good news. As the Fed, though, trying to bring inflation back to 2%, this report actually might suggest that rate hikes and balance sheet reductions are maybe not working so much. It's not curbing things back as much as they'd like to. So we might see some more. We definitely will see some lingering effects from the things that happened during the pandemic and certainly the last couple of years, including inflation. So in that report, talk about what made up that 4.9%. And the first thing that popped out was consumer spending, which contributed 2.7 percentage points. So that's good. I think we know that people are spending. And as we know, and we've been seeing that today's consumers appear willing to spend more and save less. Consumption is outpacing what they make. So that's nothing new. As a result, the savings rate that we see is falling to 3.4% in September, its lowest since last year, and well below the 5-year pre-pandemic average rate. So we've talked about this before. In the last 2 years, the savings rates since the start of the pandemic, really, people got a lot of money, and they've kind of burned through that money throughout the pandemic to a point where they're really not saving anymore. Instead, they're really spending. So this isn't really necessarily a great sign. It just shows that people do not have the money that they used to have, so they're not saving it. So that's the first piece. Business investment contributed 0.2 percentage points to real GDP growth. So some of this has really become from investment spurred by federal funding. Some of us have heard of things like the CHIPS and Science Act, the Inflation Reduction Act. What this did is actually a lot of government spending that helped fuel some of the business investment. Furthermore, inventories, which include material supplies, unfinished goods, they increased in the third quarter, contributed 1.3%. A lot of that was from motor vehicle parts and services. And this headline, but at some point, consumers are likely to finally close their wallets. So the last component to contribute to this economic growth in the third quarter was government spending and investment, which was 0.8 percentage points. Half of it came from federal sources, the other half from state and local governments. And as I mentioned here, government spending has been a positive contribution to real GDP growth for 5 consecutive quarters. I want to point out here that a lot of this stuff that we're seeing from a growth perspective is coming from government spending, and not necessarily a good thing, because government really doesn't produce anything. It just has to take care of itself through our tax dollars, and if they don't have it, then they print it. So when you look at GDP growth, take that in consideration that government spending does have a part in this. If we took government spending out, we wouldn't necessarily see as much of a growth. That said, how long can we expect consumer spending to last? As we know, things have to stop eventually, right? Things have to start slowing down. And as we know here, real disposable incomes have been falling for 4 consecutive months. Wage gains have been slowing. We believe they still will slow, as they're supposed to in a sense, given the fiscal policy that we have going on, raising the rates so we can slow things down. But with a resilience shown by the job market, that may not be the case. So furthermore, we talk about consumers, their sentiment, they are pessimistic on their outlook, because the Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index fell for the third consecutive month in October. So people are continuing to be concerned about, and we all know this, inflation concerns, higher gasoline prices, and then expectations of future economic conditions. So, moreover, and I think this is a really strong statement, higher credit card rates and the resumption of student loan repayments have led to an increase in interest expenses, which are now 48% higher than a year ago. So that is really substantial. And as I've talked before, that really what buoys our economy, as I've mentioned, spending is really important, but underlying spending, really what's keeping things going is the credit market. So anything that affects the credit market will affect absolutely everything else. And as you can see down at the bottom there, I just broke out what the GDP, excuse me, it's hard to talk on Monday mornings, that 4.9% growth in GDP made up. And if the economy, here's another article that I found that I really felt summed it up very well. If the economy is so great, well, why are we seeing what we're seeing? So federal deficits are continually growing, but what's here is deficits aren't necessary if the tax revenues increase and match spending. But the problem here is that our tax revenues are actually not keeping up. So that's really interesting. We're not, and not only that, the tax revenues are not keeping up, and they haven't been keeping up for 10 of the last 12 months. On a quarterly basis, the federal receipts have been falling quarter to quarter since the third quarter of 2022. So that's really important, and I'll bring that up in a moment because that's going to, I think, give you more clarity on what some of those things that we see people are claiming that are holding this economy up that maybe perhaps are not. But I'll mention here that it's long been known that there's a pretty strong correlation between falling tax revenues and worsening economic conditions. What does that mean? If you look at the bottom right-hand side here, those bar charts, that's year-over-year percent change in total federal receipts. As they point out here, that every time there's a downturn like this, we see a recession. And that has been the case for decades. And so I've circled those recessions. And then to the right, they're pointing to what we do see as a downturn. So does that mean we're going to need a recession? I don't know. But this is just something that's been historically noted. So I wanted to share this with you, that this is another view on where they think the economy is going. And wages aren't really moving. So, and this is what I've been pointing out for months, that the corporate media and other people that are talking about economic conditions, they say, well, it's the employment and consumer spending. That's how we know we're doing really well. And that's how we know we're not going to be in a recession. And that's why I focused on these things when I talk about this every month to you folks, because if they say employment and consumer spending is important, well, then I'm going to look at employment and consumer spending and see what goes on. So unfortunately, as we well know, consumer spending is being fueled by rising debt levels while investment falls. So that's really important. And so what's happening here is that I guess the issue here is that our federal revenues are heavily reliant upon income taxes and payroll taxes. So this is a salient point. If wages and job growth were truly surging, as the BLS says, well, we'd be seeing more growth in taxes on wages and income. But the fact is the federal revenues are falling. So what that's really suggesting is that, well, we're not getting the tax collections. Payrolls are not rising as much as we might think. And so that's fairly illustrated down there in the bottom right there. That line chart represents what real wages looks like when they adjust them for inflation. And what we're seeing is that they're not moving. Essentially 2 cents from a year ago. And of course, wages are actually down 0.06% since January. So what that's really saying, nothing has really moved when you adjust for inflation. So it's no wonder that people are struggling because inflation continues to rise. They're getting into debt and their wages are really not keeping up. Let's switch to global visa wait times. This is important. I've shared this a few times here. What are we seeing in some of our top markets? Well, we do see some improvements in some markets in terms of visa processing. We see some ones that are not improving. And Mexico is a situation that's not improving. I will also say Argentina, which I'll mention more in a moment, is not improving. However, some other areas are, generally speaking, Brazil, which has really struggled. A lot of that due to demand, actually, which is great. And they're actually doing really well in our market. I'll show you in a moment. They have improved somewhat, but some areas maybe not so much. So we just continue to share these things and keep an eye on where things are going, because this is a good idea of the challenges that people have coming into the United States. Looking at our visitation, I just put these numbers together this weekend. This is the first 9 months of this year versus what it was a year ago, as well as comparing, in some cases, 2019. And what we see here is that we're up about 1% in visitation from the first 9 months of this year versus the same period last year. And what that's made up of is actually Domestic was flat, international improving, furthermore, 7% year over year. Our Florida resident market down a little bit, but part of that reason why is because Florida residents are really strong, particularly during Q3 of last year. So while it looks like we have a big loss, 17% year over year for Florida resident, actually last summer was a pretty robust summer for Florida residents. So we are seeing a slight decline. And these are preliminary numbers. They may be revised a little bit as we get more data. So really what we're seeing here, the end result here is we're up about 1%. Down at the bottom, we compare 19 just to show really what international recovery looks like. And right now, it looks like we're down about 14% versus 2019 in terms of our international recovery, but still 8% above what it was for total visitation. And then to the right, our top markets continue to be New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, and Houston. Most of those markets actually seeing growth year over year, which is fantastic. Last year was a record, so we do see further growth from those domestic markets. Houston, about flat. And then on a country level, Colombia still down a little bit, but Brazil and Canada making a really solid comeback, followed by Mexico, which is down a little bit after some very strong years. And the UK, apparently down slightly, but not really something that I would worry about. And here's where things get a little bit more explanatory. So let's look at their Visa card spend. So I think what's really relevant here, to the right here, we're showing the first 3 quarters of this year, what the Visa spend is for these top markets, as well as how we're spending to get an idea. And what we see here is that our domestic visitors are not spending in market. That's probably not a surprise to people on this call, but this is just further proof that they're just not taking their visas out as much as they were before. That said, those that are from our domestic, which is our Florida residents, and actually Orlando and Tampa have been spending a lot more this year over last. And I can tell you a lot of that is actually being fueled by shopping. They're coming here to shop as well as to dine. Overall, we do see that Florida markets are about 4%. Domestic is down about 4%. And then down here at the bottom there, you'll see that actually we're included in that, and our spending is up about 3%. So I had to separate these things to really show that it's the domestic markets that are not spending like they were. So very interesting. But let's switch gears and look at international, because this becomes even more interesting. So what I've done is I'm showing the Visa spend by country for international for the same period of time, but also looking at the exchange rates, because I think that there's something to be said. So as we know, if these different countries, if these people come here and their exchange rate is not as favorable as it used to be, they may be less inclined to spend. In some cases, that really pops out. One market here, Argentina, as I've mentioned before, is really struggling. And, these are really almost apocalyptic numbers in some ways. When they're down 1/3 in spending year over year, and looking at their exchange rates to the right there, what it was for the first 3 quarters versus 2022, their currency has declined by 88% in terms of purchasing power here in the U.S. But looking at just November versus last year, down 168%. So it is a real struggle. As some of you may know, they had elections this weekend, and they have a new leader, and I hope that this leader can bring them into some prosperity. I watched a video this morning. He had a chainsaw out, so maybe he wants to cut some spending and some inflation, pun intended. I know, a bad one, but that seems to be the case down there. And then other than that, we don't see too many surprises, but as I mentioned, UK, visitation may be down a little bit, and that is reflected in their overall visa spend. And then, not surprisingly, Colombia continues to be down and challenged. And a lot of that has to do with their currency. A couple of years ago, their currency was about 3,000 pesos to every American dollar. Now it's about 4,800. So they are really challenged and probably a little shell-shocked when they come here and look and see how much things cost. Looking at our top U.S. hotel markets, we can see here that for the first, from January through October here, Miami-Dade County makes number 10 in that slot in terms of occupancy, but most of the top markets were just in their 70s, so not bad. But we see some other markets there that have taken over those slots. Looking at ADR and RevPAR, we're number 5. And interestingly, some of these other markets that we used to beat, like Boston and San Francisco, have come up and are actually, for the year, have actually beat us a little bit. And as we can see, we're the only market that declines, but that's because we were so high last year. These other markets now, as we compete for visitation, I hate to say it, but some of those markets are taking some of our visitors. But that said, we're still doing fairly well, and we're still at least in that ranking of top 10. And then looking at a trend here, we see that across for the first 10 months of this year, across just about every of these big three measures, we saw decreases month over month and, of course, year over year. And you can see that really the biggest decreases were during the spring. So April and May with occupancy, ADR, and again, resulting in a negative year over year. Breaking this down by scale, by hotel by scale, I've done this before, but I wanted to share this with you again because there's a story to be told here. As we know, our luxury properties have done extremely well the last couple of years. And as we can see those top bar charts, they are the ones that are subsequently taking the biggest beating. I hate to say that, but as you can see, for example, ADR is down about 10% when it comes to luxury. And just about every property, ADR is down a little bit, economy being the least affected. But taking a step back, looking at occupancy, we can see with occupancy, most of those markets, actually, most of those segments were down year over year. With the exception of economy just being almost flat. And then really where that story, where I think it's interesting, is if you look at that table to the bottom, contains most of the information that you just saw in the top bars. But if you go to the last column, you see there that the demand, the rooms sold, is actually stronger than it was for the same period last year. So really what's affecting occupancy for the most part is new supply. So if it wasn't for all the new supply, you would actually be seeing much better occupancy figures. Regionally, I'm not going to go through all this, but I know folks here have hotels in different regions, so I'm including this for you. Again, not a big story here. Occupancy overall for Miami-Dade County was down in October, ADR and RevPAR. Some notes here, looking down at the bottom, we can compare to Broward, Florida Keys, and Florida. And the story there is that actually we're not doing so bad at all. And as a matter of fact, with Florida, we've actually outperformed a little bit in terms of year-over-year performance. And then looking ahead, as Miguel mentioned here, and this, I share this a lot with you, this is actually pretty good. This is our pacing. This is our reserved occupancy on the books right now versus what it was a year ago, the dotted lines 1 year ago. And as you can see here, we're actually doing quite well. As was mentioned before, the weeks for Art Basel have changed, and you can see that gap both in the top with hotel and the bottom with short-term rentals. And, you know, Art Basel looks almost as strong booking-wise, maybe not quite as strong as it was last year. However, looking further out, Christmas and New Year's actually looks fantastic. So, you know, things could pick up for Art Basel. They may not. I don't know. But this is where we see things right now. And, you know, we'll just continue to watch this. This, to me, is some of the most important information that comes across my desk, because this is really telling us what direction we're headed. And then taking that information and consolidating into month, what do we see? Well, November down a little bit. Part of that probably due to Art Basel switching months from November to December. But we see pretty good performance right now in terms of filling up the books. December, January, February, and even April and May, actually we're pacing a little bit ahead in terms of where we were last year. So that's really great news. And in a moment, you'll see why that really correlates with what CoStar is saying we should be seeing in our market. But nothing is alarming here. Right now, things, if they go the same way, it looks pretty positive. And then finally, the forecast that just came out on Friday that you folks are getting before anybody else here. I want to mention that CoStar/STR continues to revise their forecast. 2 forecasts ago, they said a recession in Q4. The last one they shared with you that was done in August said recession in Q1. Well, we're not seeing that right now. And I guess what we're really seeing here is that this doesn't really look like there's much of any recession that's being forecasted. So, you know, I guess that's good news. I mean, I hope that it's true. But we see generally good activity going on here. And next year looks like a pretty solid year. And that said, last forecast said that 2024 was going to be flat over 2023. And if you look at that last line at the bottom, they are saying actually that we're going to be seeing some gains across the board. So I hope so. This is a really potentially good story, and we will just continue to watch that, and I'll share these new forecasts as they come in. And then finally, one final note, and this will be over for you folks. Thanksgiving travel looks really strong. It looks really strong in this country. It looks strong in our state, and it looks very strong here on the ground in Miami. So Floridians, they are according to AAA, they are saying that they expect this will be the second highest travel for Floridians since 2003. So that's a fantastic. Looking at national, they're saying that it's the third highest volume of trips on record, but less than 2019 and 2005. And then what they mentioned here is that, as long as gas prices continue to hold, then maybe that should hopefully help things and help travel. But I will mention AAA, and there's the fourth paragraph down, believes that gas prices should remain low. I put a question mark there because I don't know where really low is. I guess low is now $3 or some cents a gallon. But they're basically saying, as long as things stay the same, we should see some pretty good activity over Thanksgiving. And then finally, MIA is expecting to have a record in terms of the number of people coming through the airport for Thanksgiving. So if you're traveling, just make sure that you're going to be preparing yourself appropriately. Folks, that's it. I tried to wind through a lot of things here in a relatively short amount of time. I really appreciate everybody attending and contacting me afterwards. If you have any questions, that's my contact information, bottom left. I'm always happy to help and certainly take suggestions on the types of things that you would like to see for the future. So that is it.
Amazing stuff, Andrew. Thank you very much. And Crystal, yes, we will give you the summary slides at the end of the presentation. We'll email it to everyone. All right, Andrew, the question. What question do you have? Is it based?
Okay. Well, we talked about GDP growth, and I had mentioned that we had seen positive GDP growth in the third quarter. But out of that GDP growth, I mentioned the different things that make up the GDP growth. What was the percent of that GDP growth that was allotted to consumer spending?
Quick answer here, 4.9.
Consumer spending. It was okay. I think it came across 2.7.
2.7. Hannah, 2.7. Congratulations, Hannah. All right. Excellent. Congratulations to everyone. And now we're going to move on to Lisette. Lisette, do you have a presentation for us?
Good morning, Miguel. I have some images that I can share. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share what the city does during Art Week. I'm going to share my screen. And let me know if you guys can see my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
We see it.
Great. So we're going to start. I know that my colleague, John, shared a couple of things that we do, but No Vacancy is already kicked off. As he mentioned, it opened November 16th, and it covers, it's a partnership between the City of Miami Beach, the Miami Beach Visitors and Conventions Authority, and the GMCBB. We featured 12 artists at 12 hotel properties, and that's the Avalon, the Betsy, the Cadillac, the Catalina, the Hotel Crichton, the Esme, Faena, Palomar, Surf Comer, which Mariana mentioned, the Riviera Hotel, the Royal Palm, and the International Inn. This is a wonderful program. You can check it out. It runs until December 14th, actually, this year. And there are two large prizes that are given. There's a public vote. If you see on the chat, I shared our mbartsandculture.org website, Art Week, that has a lot of information, but it also has the individual tabs for all of our programs, including No Vacancy. So this already kicked off. Go check out one of these beautiful properties where you can see amazing artwork. And here is the map that is also available if you go to our website. So something very important that you can share with your guests. So we have our Miami Beach trolley system that they can jump on and check out a lot of the things that we have going on for free on Miami Beach. Next, we have the City of Miami Beach has commissioned the local artist Edison Peñafiel to do a beautiful banner project on 41st Street. So from the entrance into Miami Beach all the way onto Pine Tree Drive, he has the exhibition called Run, Run Like the Wind, and it is inspired by different themes of immigration. And we will have the opening on December 4th at 1 p.m. at Harry Liebman Square. That's the corner of 41st and Pine Tree Drive, right where Star Child is, that John mentioned. So join us there. There'll be a musical performance because all the banners have lyrics from different songs that deal with the same themes. Next, we have opening the next day. We have the City of Miami Beach has commissioned the third commission, but actually fourth on Española Way through our program Elevate Española. We have the Brazilian artist collective Assume Vivid Astro Focus. They are an amazing international collections, and that is opening on Tuesday, December 5th at 1 p.m. The name of the exhibition is Adora Vanessa Athena Fantasia, and the exhibition is an ode to Miami Beach and Miami-Dade County drag culture. So come check it out. This is going to be an amazing installation. We also have opening our Balls of Miami Beach in the beautiful Miami Beach Convention Center that John mentioned. That open public days are Wednesday, December 6th through the 10th. Yeah, I know the little shift in the dates. It's a leap year. Actually, it's really interesting that they don't arbitrarily select these dates because of the leap year. It kind of shifts over, and they did change back to their old schedule before COVID, which is Wednesday through Sunday, as John mentioned. And we also have the beautiful Design Miami Fair across the street in Pride Park. We also have the last but not least, after Art Week, we have December 2nd. We are partnering with the Lincoln Road Bid to do the holiday festival on Lincoln Road with Miami Beach Classical Music Festival. Join us for that. It's going to be the first event that we have our new mayor and commissioner. So that's going to be really a great event for you to come and participate. That's December 2nd, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. On December 16th, I'm really excited for this one. We have our second annual holiday drone show. This is free on 12th and Loomis Park on 12th Street and Ocean Drive, followed by the holiday movie Hugo. So this is a fun family event. We're really excited to bring this back. It's a beautiful, beautiful drone display show that we give all our residents and our visitors. And then last but not least, we have on January 1st, our third annual New Year's Day celebration with Miami Beach Classical Music Festival right on 12th Street. It's a beautiful afternoon concert. After a night of celebrating the New Year's Day, come with your family, go to brunch on, in the Art Deco Cultural District, and then come to 12th Street where you can enjoy beautiful classical symphonic performances on 12th and Ocean Drive. And that's my presentation.
That's a lot of stuff, Lizette.
I know, and we're a little team. We call ourselves a small but mighty team.
Busy, busy, busy.
Yes.
All right. You have a trivia question you want to give out?
I'm going to make it super easy to close it in. How many hotels are participating in No Vacancy?
12.
Yep.
Sergio, you got it. Sergio
Awesome.
Was ready to go and at the wheel. Perfect. Thank you very much, Lisette. Miss Ceci, congratulations again on your marriage and partnership. I wish you all the best. And you have some great information on us for South Florida. And
thanks so much. Sure. I actually joined the FIU family. My husband is Dr. Orlando Jacinto Garcia, who's a composer in residence at FIU. So it's been kind of fun being part of this FIU family and everything else going on. They're very tight knit. But thank you so much. Our wedding was actually at the Versace. So it was nice to have my Ocean Drive family be there for me so that they could provide us with that beautiful location. And I just wanted to thank them publicly because it was a very nice gift. So capitalizing, we've talked about now a couple of times the Miami Beach Holiday of Lights, the Holiday Festival of Lights with the Miami Classical Music Festival, who is in residence on Ocean Drive in the Betsy Hotel. We're actually part of that as well. They have not only Lincoln Road at Euclid in the Oval on December 1st and 2nd, but we're going to have it on Ocean Drive. We're activating the south side of Ocean Drive this time. It is going to be over 4 buildings, which make up the Gabriel Hotel. So that's going to be on December 15th and 16th at 6:30, 7:30, and 8:30. So there's 3 different showings. It's absolutely going to be amazing. People travel from all over the world to see what they do in Europe for this. They have this similar thing at the Merchandise Mart in Chicago since it's a big blank canvas. So we're really excited, especially since you're going to be able to sit far enough away to really absorb and experience it. The Gabriel is almost like a blank slate. It's going to be a wonderful holiday experience. We're going to do it also on the north side. It says the Betsy Hotel, but in truth, it's going to be 4 buildings, including 3 of the other hotels that are south of the Betsy. So that's the north end, and that's going to be on December 22nd and December 23rd at 6:30, 7:30, and 8:30. And both of them are going to be accompanied by the music festivals, wonderful performers, singers. It's not going to be a full orchestra. It's just going to be some music with live singers singing, and there will be chairs. There'll be a wonderful opportunity to come and engage, sit, and have some dinner while you're on Ocean Drive and experience the Festival of Lights, which we hope will be a tradition. We actually approached the Victor Hotel, and we fully expect next time around that we'll be able to get not only the north and the south of Ocean Drive, but the middle as well, which would be a wonderful experience. So that, and then we also, it's a great place to send people to Ocean Drive to have a wonderful family-friendly experience. I'm part of the Jazz Festival, South Beach Jazz Festival board, and I'm a founding board member. I'm really excited about that. I think it's a wonderful place for our hoteliers and our concierge guests to not only send people to, but to anticipate it coming the first weekend of January every single year. And so we're looking at that being an attraction for tourism right after New Year's and right before Art Deco weekend. So if you really think about it that way, it is happening on Lincoln Road. I'm the MC every year for all of the bands that happen on Lincoln Road. There are some ticketed events. The Faina VIP event on Thursday night before is almost sold out. We're also at the Miami Beach Band Shell. And this year we're going to be in Collins Park, which there's a VIP experience, but it's also open to the public. The musicians are amazing. They're Grammy Award winning. They're really outstanding professionals. We do have a mission and a purpose, which is disability awareness. And a lot of the musical talents either have a disability like Matthew Whitaker, who is blind, or they have a tie into some kind of support for organizations that support people with disabilities. So it's not about what you can do or can't do. It is about what you can do. So that's really exciting. And I'm seeing it now evolved into something special that people travel down here for, besides New Year's Eve, which we have New Year's Eve. And this year is the trifecta because New Year's Eve happens to be on Sunday night, which means that for the first time, Ocean Drive will be closed for 4 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Monday, as Lisette told you, is going to be the orchestra on 11th, which has been incredibly popular. We've had thousands of people show up for that. That is an afternoon event the day of New Year's Day. New Year's Eve, we have over 40 restaurants expanding into the street. It is one of our best weekends. It's one of our best nights on Ocean Drive. Make your reservations in one of the 40 alfresco dining experiences and walk up and down just to see how beautiful it can be with all of the restaurants open. The street is closed to traffic. It's really a time to experience Ocean Drive and the architecture in a very special way. So I would encourage everybody. Friday night, of course, is the night before Orange Bowl. Saturday, I don't know if they're going to have Orange Bowl activities or not. Would depend. I guess it depends on who's in the Orange Bowl. But Sunday, definitely, please come out for New Year's Eve. It's going to be, and then the Ocean Drive Association, in partnership with the city, always produces the fireworks. So we will have the most spectacular South Beach fireworks being able to be seen throughout Ocean Drive, throughout Lummis Park, anywhere you are on the beach, the Lowe's, Nikki Beach, all the way. If you're in a condo situation, we're happy that the residents are also experiencing the joy of 15 minutes of spectacular fireworks on New Year's Eve. Interestingly enough, the biggest question that people ask me is, what time are the fireworks? It's New Year's Eve. So the fireworks are at midnight, not like 4th of July when they're at 9 o'clock. They are at midnight. It's going to be spectacular. I encourage you all to make plans to come out for that. Usually it's a wonderful climate, right? It's great weather. This is the time to be on South Beach. And then I want to really plug for a second that we continue having the Ocean Drive Promenade music series. And this music series, sorry, I had it up. This music series is something that we started over a year ago. We do have a grant from the city of Miami Beach to do this. We are producing 52 concerts a year, every single Sunday. It is now at 5 o'clock because it starts getting dark later. So last Sunday was really cool because it was at Charlie Brown's Christmas at Christmas. So it was the jazz of Charlie Brown and Vince Guaraldi's the composer of a lot of the Charlie Brown music. So that was really fun. The musicians were all dressed up in suits, but they all had their Christmas gear on. Next Sunday is going to be a 5-string swing group. So if you're into swing or your guests are, please send them down our way. And then we'll have a full December Lincoln Center on the Road, a Hanukkah concert with Avi Hoffman, South Beach Chamber Ensemble, Holiday Classics. And then on the 24th, Noche Buena, we are going to have music for the holiday season. It's carols and a community sing-along. So this is going to be your caroling experience. Come out. It is at 5 o'clock. It's free. We thank the City Bike because they provide loaner chairs. So I do have loaner lawn chairs, but people can bring blankets, sit on the ground. It's absolutely free. It's a beautiful experience. Nobody's pressuring you to go anywhere to do anything. It's completely al fresco in the middle of Lummis Park, and it's become a gem. So I do encourage you to do that. We list everything on our Facebook page, Ocean Drive Association events, but the GMCVB has given us oceandrivearts.com. Well, you will find the Ocean Drive Promenade music series and other fun things happening on Ocean Drive on that page, oceandrivearts.com. So we're looking forward to New Year's Eve.
Thank you very much, Ceci. All right, we're running a little bit late. Do you have a question for the group, for the rep?
What can I say? I can say, oh my goodness, no, I really don't. I can't even think of anything off the top of my head. Oh, sorry.
So we'll pass on that one. Perfect.
How many days? How many days are we going to be open? How many days is New Year's Eve weekend?
There we go.
Yeah,
4.
that was an easy one.
Steven wins.
It's historic. We're usually 2 or 3. This is historic.
Excellent.
It's going to be a wonderful time.
Excellent. Thank you, Ceci. Steven, congratulations. Our next call is December 18th with all the holiday happenings in South Florida. Show notes will be sent later today. Also, very important, if you have nothing to do and would like to network with about 200 or 300 of your closest friends or soon-to-be friends, you're more than welcome to join us tomorrow at Jungle Island, 6 p.m. We have plenty of food, over 10 top restaurants, 4 open top shelf bars, a DJ, 35 vendors showcasing all their products and services. It's in the Bloom Ballroom, which was formerly the Treetop Ballroom at Jungle Island from 6 to 9 tomorrow night. I'll send the link for the registration with the show notes. Again, thank you, Andrew, Ceci, Annabelle, John, and Lisette. Congratulations to our winners, Larissa, Oana, Hannah, Sergio, and now Stephen. My parting message from the late, great Maya Angelou, Arthur, poet and civil rights activist. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but they'll never, ever forget how you made them feel. With that, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone. Eat lots. Be safe. Until December, happy holidays. Take care. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho, and everywhere in between. Miami's a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us.